Alright, y'all. That's what it looks like once this is done drying. I should have left it at a different angle because it kind of glued itself closer together than it should, but oh well. We're going to drop that back in there and let's get the other pieces back in. From the previous video, you saw this part number and you saw this part. We're changing out for that monstrosity and putting it on the top here. So there's the two side by side each other. You're going to have a gasket here. You're going to have these little nubs. They're going to fit through the 3 holes up here. I'm not sure if you want this gasket in there since those nubs are supposed to sit through. I don't know. Also, you can align that mark up in there with the top of this, and then you can use those nubs to make sure this is facing the right way with the spring. I don't know if I'd use this or not. I don't think I will. Out with the old and with the new. This one really doesn't look that bad till you look at the sides and realize how much it got scraped up. Something also important to note is the grooves inside there are going to match up with the grooves on the strut so it doesn't turn on you. Once you have that on top, you want to send these grooves right here on the strut up into there to match up. After I recompress the spring, of course, here by going down and putting that back to tightening. So you got it fed up through, you're going to match it up with the top mount, those lines. If you turn the threads and the top plate moves, then you're good to go. Probably didn't explain that very well. What I mean is, when this is, you're going to have to fight with it a little bit, like pulling it down and pushing this up if it's not staying up all the way. But when you go to turn this shouldn't turn independently. It should turn with that center shaft because it should be locked into this. So after I made sure they were sitting nice and tight together, that is when I actually let off a little bit of pressure, and I'm now going to tighten this nut up, knowing that this should be locked in and this is turning on its own, because the bearing underneath there should be staying still. Let me see. Yeah, that I think. Yeah, because when this is loose, this should all turn as one, this center too, knowing it's locked in, and then when it's tight, this should turn independently of the center. So we're using a 19 millimeter there. I don't know if you can see that. And when you're tightening this, you should know that you got it. If when you turn that, you lift this up and this is not turning that center piston there. After you got that good and snug, now we're just going to relieve the pressure, take this thing out. Make sure your chain's undone there. We're going to hit the release down there. A little gently here. There you go. Now you're good to take it out. And reinstalling the vehicle here. Coming up through. The bottom down there should all line up with the lines up here. Now all you gotta do is feed it up through there to those 3 bolts. Once you get them all in, start tightening them up. Those are the nuts that came with the KYB. These are the originals. I really like the originals because I don't like how those sit down in there. So we're gonna go with the originals. I think these are 14s. Forgot to mention you can put some anti-seize on those threads. Yep, that's gonna be a 14 mil. Just gonna snug those down. After you get them run down, you're gonna want to tighten this by hand. Don't kill it. Make sure you get it nice and tight though, really tight. If you choose to, you can use that 19 now and snug up that top bolt a little bit, just a little bit. Now, if you did it all correctly, you should be able to grab your strut and turn it back and forth, and it should move somewhat freely without noise. Alright, let's start on these 22 millimeter, that's on either side, putting them through. Again, some anti-seize on the threads wouldn't hurt. This is a good time to grab a second jack to pop this up so you can get it in there, unless you want to manhandle it, which is very hard to do. Once you get it jacked up to where you can fit it in there, you want to go a little bit higher. Make sure you get those bolts all lined up. Once you got those in, you're going to put the 22 mil on, you're going to snug them down with the impact, but then use a hand to finish tightening them. Just like so, just a little. Should be enough to, then you're gonna do it by hand. Using my 1/2 inch breaker bar there, just going up a little bit. There you go, that's tight enough. Put that clip back on there. Alright, so 17 millimeter, I don't know if you can see that. For your sway bar link here, make sure not to have a washer on there. So those, if you saw my previous video, you know that it needs to grip in this hole like studs would. So washer and bolt go on the outside out here. I think I took my jack away prematurely because it's not angled quite right, but we're gonna try it here. Well, I could have used like the T6 in the center again with a wrench, but I decided vice grip, so here we go. That's what I got tightened it down with. After you get that snug down, you're gonna have this bolt over here. That's gonna be 12. I don't know if you can see that very well or not. And I'll put little anti-seize on it, and that's how the plates go. This one in the back, this one in the front. And then you'll have to put the tire on. Definitely don't try to kill this bolt, just get it snug. Now 21mm for the wheel. Little anti-seize on all the wheel studs, and you can also spray this face with a little bit of penetrant oil, something to keep it from sticking to the the aluminum wheels, or I mean alloy. Before I put this tire on, I want to show you a quick repair. This boot's starting to come off, and I think it's giving me vibration on highway speeds. So we're going to wrap the tape counter to the way it's going to be spinning. It's going to be spinning mostly to the front. You are going to go in reverse sometimes, but not that fast. So we're going to get some electrical tape right here, and we're going to wrap it that direction to keep that from flopping around. Pretty much like so. I'm going to wrap against that way. Alright, y'all. That's what it looks like when it's all done. Alright, y'all. Staller pattern. So here, then here, then here, then here, then here. Remember, we're just snugging these up like that. Yeah, we're gonna snug it up. Then we're gonna go back and do the star pattern with the wrench. You know what I mean, ratchet. So snug that one up. Snug that one up. Just like that. Just keep going all the way around till you get them all snugged up. Real nice like. If you want to get a precision tool, you can, like a torque wrench. That's always a good idea. It's probably like 80 to 100 foot-pounds somewhere on these. And I just get them somewhere in this ballpark until they won't go no more with my long ratchet here. So, all right, take the jack stand out, and you can lower your jack, just like so. Re-snug the lug nuts. All right, y'all, time to put that motor back in. I think those are 10 mils. We'll get to them here. So this assembly sits right in here. We got 4, you should be able to see it there, 10 mil bolts. So the head is 10 mil over here, 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 and there. You can put a little anti-seize on them, and you want to get them all started before you start tightening them down. After you get them snugged down a little bit, then you're going to go back by hand, and because you got one there and over here, do them all by hand and tighten them, just snug them up. Long extension works pretty well for this, and you can see I'm just choking up there. Doesn't have to be, you don't have to kill this, it just has to be pretty snug. Plug this back in here. So here we got the cowling. It's going to go back in. Hard parts is to get these plastic tabs all the way across underneath the windshield, plus get this rubber grommet pulled out of the way so you can get it into that hole when you get it up. And you got to repress all these little tabs down in here. Well, after getting that top pushed in first and doing the side rubbers and then just clipping this down, that's good to go. Let's see what these are. So we're gonna have 14mm for these, and just I think from the previous video I showed where you just want to lay these as close as this is gonna be over here. You're gonna lay these as close as you can down on the grooves and tighten those, snug those up, and you got these caps that go on. After you snug those down by hand and get them where you want them, like I said, just put these caps back on. They just fit right on there. And you're done, basically. All right, y'all. Like and subscribe for more. And let me think in the comments. Would you attempt this? All right. Stay safe and God bless. Catch you next one. See you then.